Welcome to Kung Fu Africa number 2. Bonus video, last video for the night. Black belts. Ranking structure. Sad truth about martial arts. Call it anything you want. But I'm going to call it like it is. I made a video about this. I didn't really touch on it, and if I did, well, here's your recap. This belt holds up my pants. The martial art black belt does the same. And it looks cool on your uniform. It does not mean that you can whoop everybody's ass. It just means that you were really good at that dojo, at brick breaking, board breaking, sparring, following instructions to the letter like doing forms and shit, because every dojo is different. And you were decent human. But that does not give you the constructive criticism of being able to beat everybody's ass. Understand that if you are a black belt in that dojo, that is where that black belt counts. That's it. Out in the street, meeting a stranger, no one's going to give two shits if you are a black belt. You may need to warn them, but you also need to understand the possibility of you beating somebody's ass because you have a black belt and they don't is 50-50. Because I tell you this because I have beaten black belts in sparring matches and I have beaten black belts in actual fights. So at least they claimed it was black belts. Yeah, black belt should have been able to walk the fucking floor with me. Except for there's a problem in most dojos. See, the other side of that is really simple. And a lot of people are going to come at me, and that's fine. But just because some shit works in the dojo doesn't mean it's going to work outside the dojo. Understand that shit. And also understand that just because you have a black belt and you have a skill set, it does not mean that your skill set is going to work on everybody at all times. There are going to be some people who can scrap back. And when they scrap back, they are not scrapping to play with you. And this is the thing that you got to understand. Your belt and rank structure, whether it's a white belt or a black belt, that belt is only to hold up your pants. It is to keep track of your skill set inside that dojo. It means nothing when you leave that dojo. And every teacher teaching, if you're watching this, if this comes across you by any means necessary, you can be pissed off all you want. But ask yourself, is Echo Fangreal Wolf lying? Is a black belt something that just makes kids cocky and then they want to go and think that they can beat everybody? Yes, it is. Because lots of people have black belts. And lots of people think that they can beat everybody's ass because they have a black belt. This is why when I tell people that we should fight for our belts to make sure that our skill sets actually work versus, oh, well, you did pretty good in school. You broke a brick, you broke a board, okay. You did kata 4, very great, and you got this belt. You worked out this fight scene, and it worked out because it was a fight scene and it's choreographed. But in the real thing, fights move faster than that. People take hits better than that. You can't always judo throw somebody bigger than you. You can't, because they can shift their weight. What happens when they shift their weight and you fall? You need to know how to fall properly with an elbow extended or with a knee extended, so if they land on you, you can slow them down enough where you can get the hell up from under their ass. You gotta have some kind of ground game, or at least some kind of immobilizing tactic to stop them. You know, I'm 130 pounds, soaking wet. I'm really only 127 pounds. I have to find ways to fight smarter, not harder, because I'm never gonna outmuscle somebody at my size. No. But I can outbrain this shit. No. If I can outsmart them in a fight, I can win this fight. If I try to outmuscle them or try to outscrap them, we're gonna have problems. I'm not gonna outmuscle them. I can outscrap them. I got the cardio to keep going because I kind of live for this shit. But we have to break it down. You have to understand that your belt, rank, and everything else only has importance in that dojo. A lot of people are going to get mad at me when I say this. Lots of people. Lots of y'all are going to get mad. But ask yourself, if you've been outside into a fight and you know you have a black belt, and you just start hauling off. Yo, I got a black belt. You sure you want to ride this train? You're gonna meet that one guy that's like me. That knows how to fight very well. That has a little bit of martial arts skills, and say, Psh, SFW, you got a black belt. Let's see if your lesson is well worth what you paid for. Now I explain that, they say. So I'm going to explain that to you. You can have a good belt ranking structure. You can be the sensei of your school. That does not mean by any means necessary that you can't get your ass beat up or killed by somebody who does not have that shit. Somebody who doesn't have special forces training, somebody who's never been in a fight in their life can still get the drop on your shit. And you need to understand that shit like that happens all the fucking time. But you don't get told about that shit. Nobody don't get told about that shit because they don't want you to understand that everything has a flaw. Everything has a flaw point. And if you can't find that flaw, you find it the hard way. Alright? So, let me end the video with this, especially for martial artists. If you have a black belt and you've gotten your ass kicked, I'm sure you're not going to tell anybody. Alright? I do not have a black belt. I have not gotten my ass kicked. I've lost a sparring match. Lost a couple of them. Lost a wrestling match just recently. But I learned from my motherfucking mistakes. I do know that if I lose to you in a sparring match, it's because I'm probably going to beat your ass when the real shit happens. If I lose to you in a wrestling match, it's because I know I'm going to beat your ass when the real shit happens. And I know you're all thinking, how do you have proof of that? Here's the thing. I never lost a real fight. I've lost lots of sparring matches. Now, if you count the times my big sister has beaten my ass, then I've lost real fights. But only to her. Not to somebody in the street, not to somebody in the dojo, not somebody in the park. Trust me, people that I fought for real ain't never came back for a second round. No, I am not bragging. No, I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm just stating a motherfucking fact. I've lost lots of sparring matches. Because losing a sparring match is how you learn about yourself and how you know not to let that shit happen again. Learning how to train. This is another reason why I say when you spar with people, like I with BJJ, and they don't spar hard, they don't spar heavy. You know, they spar with enough oomph so that you know, hey man, this stings a little bit, lighten up. With most sparring like Taekwondo, you are taught to toe tap, so that you don't hurt your sparring partner. You don't really bare knuckle spar, so when your bare knuckle brawlers fight, they fighting. You don't really spar in the UFC with anybody outside of your coach or your training guy. You don't spar with the motherfucker that you're gonna go to fucking fight in 2 weeks. No, because then that guy knows all your shit. He knows how strong you hit. He knows how he can beat you. That's just a dumbass thing to do. If I gotta fight you in 2 weeks, you're the last motherfucker I want to see. And I'm not gonna be that guy when we get on stage talking shit. Because that shit's not gonna help me. What that shit's gonna do is probably fuel you to beat my ass even more. So while you're talking shit, I'm just gonna stand there. You gotta get nose to nose with me. I ain't gonna say shit. And I'm gonna tell you, if you pay attention to that, generally is that cocky motherfucker that's nose to nose talking shit about how much they hate their opponent. Don't even know the motherfucker really, but how much they hate their opponent. Watch carefully. Because 9 times out of 10, that motherfucker doing all the talking is going to be the one laid out in the first or the second round. Because they got up there and just talked all that shit. I ain't about that shit. Because if we going to fight, no one said that I had to play nice once that bell rings. When that damn bell rings, I have one option. Hit you with bad intentions and continue to repeat that shit. Now granted, the UFC has rules. I can't punch in the throat. I can't poke you in the eye. I can't kick you in the nuts. So that just made my job 95% harder. So now I know I can't hit you in those places. I had to hit you in places like the liver, or the kidney, free-floating rib, somewhere in the back of your head. I'm not allowed to hit you in the back of your neck, so I might be able to pop you in the back of your cerebellum there. I might be able to do that, but I got to get to it. And that's another thing that a lot of people forget. When you are fighting, understand you're not the only one in the fight. Understand the person that you are throwing punches at isn't going to just sit there and let you hit them, because that would be fucking stupid. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't understand when you're sparring, you know, you're learning while you're sparring. You're not only learning how to beat your enemy, you're learning how to not get beaten. So again, do not let your belt lead you to the hospital. I got a 7th degree white belt. I can beat everybody. No, you just got started. You have a 7th degree white belt. I got a 7th degree green belt. Okay, so you jump from white to yellow to green. I got a 9th degree red belt. Okay, you're one away from having a black belt. I had to use 9. I'm pretty sure that it stops at 7. It depends on the school. I don't even know why you have to go by degrees and stripes and shit. I guess that's just to keep people focused on whatever. Because some schools, each one of your belts have a line. Like if you're a white belt, some don't let you test for a yellow belt until you get like 7 yellow bars on your white belt. You know, some schools are like that. Trust me when I tell you. Some schools skip all that shit. You're a white belt, you test for yellow. You're a yellow belt, you test for green. You're a green belt, you test for blue. Then you test for orange. Then you test for brown. Then you test for red. Then you test for black. I'm pretty sure I might have missed a color. But either way, you test for that shit. Let me confirm that shit so that I don't like be a complete dick, because I'm not sure. Because I didn't take martial arts for belts. I took martial arts to make sure that I didn't get my ass beat. What are the colors of the belt in martial arts?
According to Century Martial Arts blog, a common sequence of advancement by color is white, yellow, orange, green, blue, purple, brown, black, and red. The martial arts belts at some schools are awarded in solid colors. In other schools, belts can also include stripes. Stripes are sometimes used to show in between phases of training.
So y'all got all that, right? So for Taekwondo, I never heard of a purple belt. So I think that's BJJ. Just to confirm that, I'm pretty sure that's BJJ. But I could be wrong, because in Taekwondo, I never got past white belt. Unless I was fighting one. So, your belt structure. The main reason why I make this video is because people get these belts and they just swear they're king of the fucking earth, and that they can beat everybody. Newsflash for you. You might be able to beat a few people, but when you get out that dojo, there's no guarantee that belt grants you shit. And it does not grant you superpowers, so don't even think about it. But I just wanted to make sure that everybody understands where I'm coming from. My 70-30 video, somewhere up here I believe, and if not, this is basically part of it. But you have to understand that that belt, it only means something in the dojo. It doesn't mean anything out in the open in the street. So just be careful. And also watch out for bullies. That being said, I'm Echo Fagre with Kung Fu number 2, BC, and